Hello and welcome to Champions. We have made it to VCT Music Hall for our semifinals and finals taking place tomorrow. I'm Dash, joined by Paper Thin and Potter to kick things off for the day. We're down to 4 teams and only 4, but it's the 4 best in the world, and that's what we're here to celebrate.
Oh, it's really exciting. Beyond thrilling to be here. I think all these teams have rightfully staked their claim to maybe be the best in the world. And coming up first, of course, we have 2 of maybe the favorites out of this entire thing right now.
Yeah, and they were absolutely tested each step of the way, right? No doubt in my mind that they absolutely deserve to be here. That Liquid Cloud9 quarterfinals was absolutely mind-blowing. I feel like we saw everything coming out from Liquid in that series, so I am very curious what kind of turnaround they can do in a couple of days. But either way, even if they replicate that performance, we're in for a treat in this semifinal.
Talking about their journeys here, talking about how they've been tested every step of the way. Let's get a refresh with the bracket to take a look at how those quarterfinals ultimately broke down. You mentioned Team Liquid having to go up against that Cloud9 roster. Definitely tested, but still taking it into map fashion. Acend, their opponents today, on Team Secret. On the other side of it, of course, we had the closer when it came to the map scores. It was Gambit over X10, one of the surprises of the tournament. And then Crew, the ultimate surprise in 2-1 fashion over Fnatic, the only team outside of EMEA to push themselves to a semifinal.
They look phenomenal. I mean, they've hit more than 1 extra gear. It's like they've hit 10 extra gears. Like every step of the way along this tournament, yeah, they fell to Team Liquid early, but ever since then, they've gotten better and better and better. Of course, a big part of that is Acend, who has been absolutely just ridiculous in these last couple matches. But, I mean, against Fnatic, a team that a lot of people thought maybe had what it took to get to the finals of this event, they upset them in a way, and now they're going to the semis, and they could really make a deep run.
Yeah, they could, and what a surprise for us to sit here and say that about Acend, right? The turnaround that man has made. Day 1, a little bit shaky, but it's so great for him to be able to say, I peaked right at the right time. I'm peaking as I'm going into the semifinals. Hey, if Acend can look half as good as he did, yeah, Crew, they're probably gonna upset. Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, that, and I love that conversation because that's sports, is finding your form at the exact right moment. We've had a number of amazing individual player performances. We've also had one of the most insane soundtracks in esports history. We know that a lot of you have been asking for the playlist, so here it is. It's a big one, and so take it all in. As good as that's been, we also had our first ever VALORANT World Championship happening tomorrow, and something as momentous as that deserves a first ever opening ceremony worthy of this incredible esports. So don't you worry, we've got you covered on that front as well. We've pulled out all the stops. We've got Paris, we've got Rez, Zed, and Grabbits all joining us right here for an epic performance that you do not want to miss. Time's right there on your screen. It's 9 a.m. Pacific, it's 1800 CET, and 2 a.m. JST. Yes, that's late there, I get it, but it's a party and caffeine exists, all right? So get your friends, don't be late, you don't want to miss this. Trust me, I'm so pumped to see what an opening ceremony in VALORANT looks like, right? We've seen what Riot can do, but this is a different esport.
Yeah.
And it has a different vibe, and I think we're going to kick it off right.
Yeah, we should. It's just a matter of after this event, what the comments are going to say. Is it how rude of VALORANT to run a tournament at Zed's concert, or is it going to be how rude of Zed to run a tournament or a concert at a VALORANT tournament? So we'll see which comment is stronger. But yeah, it's exciting. I can't believe I'm up here saying we're about to have a mixture of both here.
Right? 24 hours. 24 hours from now, we'll be getting that out on your screens. Can't wait for the show, and we're going to give you a little sneak peek of what we have in store for you. Doug, take it away.
Thank you so much, Dash. Yes, I am outside of the VCT Music Hall where the opening ceremony is set to take place right here tomorrow. VALORANT Champions isn't just about the games and the competition, as fun as it might be, but it's also about celebrating the art of greatness and all of the cultures who have influenced us throughout the year with their music. Grabbits, Rez, Paris, and Zed, yes, 4 musicians are set to play here on the stage tomorrow, and we wanted to take a moment to shout out all of the artists who have been involved in the VCT throughout the year. Music's just in the DNA, baby. As you can see behind me, this stage is the exact same angle as the VALORANT Spark. This multi-layered visceral experience is set to go live tomorrow at 1800 CET, 9 a.m. Pacific, and I, for one, cannot freaking wait. Back to you, Dash.
Hopefully we got Doug back in from the cold, but I'm sure when the lights light up and the music starts blaring tomorrow.
Poor Doug.
Somebody leave Doug outside. Get Doug back in here.
Sorry.
No, it'll be great, though. I mean, because I think, too, when all of that lights up tomorrow, right? It's going to be so spectacular. It's going to be such a great way to kick things off and kind of give us the kind of energy that we've been hoping for. We talk about it being the art of greatness, so we're going to kick it off with art tomorrow. We're going to follow it with some greatness here on this stage, but we also have some greatness coming up today. We're heading to a break. When we come back, it's Acend versus Team Liquid. We'll see you there. Welcome back to Champions, and welcome to Trovo, a new platform that just launched and will be joining in on the Valorant hype as a streaming partner. Always love to see more platforms joining the space, giving more accessibility to the esport that we know and love. Today, we kick things off with Acend versus Team Liquid in our first semifinal bout. I want to dive straight in, get into the nitty-gritty, figure out what you guys are thinking about these teams. Let's start on the side of Acend.
It's going to be a hell of a match, first of all. I mean, just top to bottom, these are two incredible teams. It's only the second time they're going to be facing each other this year. So, you know, the first time it was close. Multiple overtimes. Everything was like 13-11, 13-10. It was a 3-1 in favor of Liquid. I think Acend, though, right now looks the best I've ever seen them because a lot of people are stepping up behind Zenit.
Yeah, a lot of people, particularly Zeke, right? I mean, this guy has just been spectacular throughout this entire week. The agents that he's playing, KO, it just looks like it's like brushing his teeth in the morning. The guy doesn't even have to think about it. So fluid in that server, looking comfortable, maximizing that utility. No matter the map that he's on, he's just always there to back up his teammates, whether it's for the information with that KO knife. It's just he bolsters that defense. He's given over that sort of info for his team, and the movements across the map, you can see it as a result of that.
It's been stellar to watch him step up individually behind CNED, but as well to your point about maybe looking in the best form that we've seen them yet. This is kind of finding that form that some of us hypothesized and were wanting to see the last time we were here in Berlin, Masters 3, and talking about this squad. And so again, the storyline coming into this tournament here was, you know, are they going to live up? Hype them really, where is their true form? And it's good to see them push all the way to the semifinals and be challenging for a shot at the finals at that.
Yeah, it seems to me that I think it was just them getting comfortable with, you know, being in these big events and that kind of thing. I think there's a lot of young players on this team who don't have as much experience as, say, Team Liquid at LAN events. But they're starting to find their form. Zeke was talking about in their press conference yesterday that he feels the most comfortable he's ever felt. He's in the zone, is literally what he said right now. And this is backing up Potter's point, right? He looks like it. He is playing out of his mind. But Bone Cold exuding a ton of confidence right now in those interviews. He said they're going to 2-0 Liquid. Ooh. They're going to run away with it. So for me right now, it's all about the mentality of Acend, and they seem to be in a really great spot.
Yeah, and that mentality, they're absolutely going to need it, right? Because when we think about Acend, and from what they've said in past interviews, their entire game plan, it's kind of like they don't really have one. Now, I know that sounds silly, but they're just going with the flow, right? They're reading what's happening in the server. So playing against teams like that can be the most challenging because for these guys, they're constantly moving. They're constantly being fluid in the server depending on what their opponents throw at them.
I love you talking about the fact that they don't have a game plan because it's a perfect way to talk about maps and how you might figure out how to target or play against this team. Some of their most successful maps so far here at Champions, 1-0 on Acend, 2-0 on Breeze, and 2-0 on Bind. Bind, I think, has been the talk of the map pool when it comes to Acend and how we expect them to perform. But coupled with the point you just made, Potter, I'm like, well, I mean, okay, outside of knowing they're good on bind, now how do I approach that as a map veto, which I think isn't a tremendous strength for this team to have coming into a best of 3.
Yeah, it's hard because a lot of teams are wanting to ban Breeze or Fracture or something like that, maps that are relatively new to the map pool that they don't feel as comfortable on, and so that opens up bind often for this team, and they are nuts. I mean, their executes are incredible on the attacking side. One of the best attacking side bind teams, if not the best attacking side bind team in the world, in my opinion.
All right, well, we talk about preparation, who knows how much of it they do at this point, but we did get a quick word from Kiles on being prepared for this semifinal.
My name is Kiles, I play for Acend, and I'm a Sentinel. We are coming with confidence. There is a lot of talent from a lot of different countries, and the teams are actually working on their strategies. I believe that Jumpy is one of the best players on the world, and I think he has huge impact in Liquid, and he has a really good day. It will be so hard to play against Liquid. Hopefully it's gonna be a fun game.
I'm hoping for a fun game as well. Also in those highlights, I loved the Viper Pit drop on that bind that we're talking about. It was such an intelligent way to let that ult dissipate and actually come up with a kill as a result. He talks, though, about how difficult an opponent Team Liquid can be if they're firing on all cylinders, and in particular, Yampy is making the kinds of calls that we expect him to make. Let's talk about Team Liquid now. I think in so many ways, very early on in this tournament, separated themselves in that conversation as a tournament favorite.
Yeah, they absolutely have, and each player on this squad has absolutely stepped up. When I look at this roster, I just think, man, Liquid literally have every piece that they need to be successful. The anchor himself in Link, Yampy, has been kind of blossoming into this in-game leader role. He's got the veteran leadership of Scream right there with him, the cool, calm, collected man with the experience to be able to have a helping hand in those audibles, in those mid-round calls, and you've seen the successes of Liquid because of that. This is just an exciting roster, and as Kiles kind of said, Yampy, he's scary in that server when he's starting to heat up.
They're just scary all around.
Yeah.
And they follow up off each other so well. I think, like, you know, Soulcast is kind of the unsung hero at times, where he's doing a lot of the dirty work for Liquid, setting his team up with the flashes, with the KO utility, and he oftentimes pays the price. He might die first for that, but the rest of the team is able to bounce back, and they play. The thing that really impressed me about Liquid, they all work together. Their synergy is so good off the cuff.
Well, the same way we did with Acend, let's take a look at the map pools for Liquid, where they've been finding success here at Champions. 2-0 on Acend, 1-0 on Breeze, and 1-0 on Split. Which is interesting because there's been a number of maps that we've seen drop in strange fashion, right? And maybe those are the few areas where you would look to target Team Liquid. I'm thinking about that pretty tremendous loss to Sentinels on Bind. Granted, they followed it up with another series that's maybe answered some of the questions you would have had.
Yeah, and I think you've seen that sort of evolution from this Liquid squad, right? Because you mentioned that first Bind map. We saw Scream make that quick adjustment in a matter of, what, 24 hours, switching from the Jet to the Reyna. So certainly today, I'm looking out to see what other adjustments this Liquid squad is going to make. And as you see those 3 maps, they are absolutely confident on those. I still think it's going to come down to what Clinton was talking about, that Bind. What are Liquid going to do? Are they going to get rid of Fracture, or are they going to challenge Acend on Bind? I don't know. Both these squads have 3 very strong maps, and the Bind is the huge question mark.
Scream is obviously a focal point, especially when it comes to preparation and how they're going to turn things around in a short period of time. Yampy is another person that you're going to look at, because this guy, similarly, willing to play a number of different positions for the squad when it comes to his agent pool. And it has been said, but it'll be said many more times, when this guy is on, he's on, and he becomes a different beast.
No, he's incredible. I mean, the aim all around on this team is incredible, and he's one of the best on the team. That's saying something, right? Like, on this roster, you're like, yeah, this guy's pretty good when he's got a gun in his hand. And that's just like, well, then there's like 4 other guys as well who are almost as good, if not better.
Don't give any of them guns.
I mean, it's going to be, a lot of it's going to come down to him today, but it's just great decision-making. He's slotted into this Sova role so nicely. I've seen a lot of really effective darts from him. You know, he can play the Jet, of course. I mean, he plays everything, right? Like, that's what we're kind of focusing on with this guy, is he has turned himself into a renaissance man in this game. He plays so many different roles so well.
Yeah, so many. He's just so versatile. And the standout part about it is that he just doesn't play every role. He's exceptional, and he's exceeding expectations. rotations on every role as the in-game leader of this squad. So such impressive stats coming out for him, and he's so deadly in the server. It's not just the utility or just the in-game leadership. The man can shoot. His headshot percentage is wild.
Those five agents there is almost a legitimate team composition
All
in
by
and of
himself.
itself. In and of itself. Like, you probably toss the Omen out.
That's what
right?
I'm running on Split.
And find something else
Yeah.
in there. But it's like when one man can basically play an entire agent composition, legitimate agent composition, that's a scary thing. We've talked about everyone but the newest addition to the roster, and I think that's someone that we want to hear from directly. Let's talk to Nivera about being that missing piece for Team Liquid.
My name is Nabil Benaritam, my nickname is Nivera, and I'm playing for Team Liquid. Honestly, it feels amazing because I just joined Team Liquid basically. It's been almost 2 months, and yeah, already playing the biggest tournament of VALORANT means a lot for me. Team Liquid has always been really strong, a really good team, and they needed just small details. They lost, but the games were so close. They just needed one addition, and I have really good firepower, so I think I'm just the missing piece for them. I think my brother has the best aim in the game, just not me, but from the whole players. Since I joined the team, we haven't lost a single match, so it says a lot, to be honest. And yeah, we're not scared to lose, but we know we're gonna win this tournament, and yeah, we're really confident for the future.
They were already good, now they're that much better. As he said, they haven't dropped a match since he's joined the squad. Can you imagine taking the first ever World Championship in VALORANT by having not dropped a match since you've joined the team? That's setting a precedent and a bar that's going to be so difficult to meet in any future year.
I don't know what it says for any rookie coming in. I mean, that's how are you going to ever live up to that? You're going to have to win 2 titles in a row, back-to-back years, not dropping a series. What? How is that possible?
Yeah, setting the bar so high and just impressive as well, right? Just the quick turnaround. It's barely been 2 months since he's joined the squad, and it looks like he's been on the squad for 2 years, certainly. He's always the man that's on his lonesome, on the extremities, making the lurks happen, and just closing out the rounds. Nivera has been spectacular, and the natural synergy, of course, between him and his brother just bleeds out onto the rest of the squad. All 5 of these guys are just gelling.
I mean, every dynasty's got to start somewhere, right?
True.
So who knows? This might be Team Liquid's time. Let's dive into our featured matchup. It's Soulcast versus Zeke. Zeke, somebody that you called out when we were talking about Acend as being one of the people stepping up behind CNET and in a brilliant way. I'm looking at that KDA, 2.7 as an average.
Jeez. And it's so spectacular because when you watch Zeke, as I said, he's the best teammate that you could ever ask for. He's not in the server just always looking for highlights, going for the crazy, spectacular clips, right? He's utilizing his utility to hold off the choke points and very selfless in how he reacts within the round. So definitely Zeke has been the highlight for this squad for me.
The other piece of this conversation in this matchup for me, Paper Thin, is the Agent KO. That's been a talking point for us all throughout the tournament. When should he be used? How well has he been used? Who is the best, user of that agent? And we might get our answer today in this matchup.
Yeah, I think Soulcast, again, like I said earlier, does a lot of dirty work with the KO, right? He's going for the pop flashes. He's going to lead the way when the no command's online. So he's going to have to take a lot of damage. He's going to have to absorb a lot of the initial fire for Team Liquid to bust down doors for them, to open up space for the rest of the team. The good news is every time I've seen him get some good utility usage, especially with the flashes, somebody's right there to cover for him. It's a Yampy or whoever's playing right next to him is right around the corner to get a kill off of it.
Do you have an inkling in that individual matchup? Who would you lean towards?
Oh man, don't do that to me.
Too late. Can't roll it back. We're live.
I'm going with Zeke. He's
Okay.
just been so consistent. He's been so consistent, and as I said, he looks so comfortable in the server, right? There's just no hesitation. The go button that we always look for in these younger players that just obviously have raw mechanical skill, you want to have that go button. You want to be able to say, hey, you go kill. And they absolutely do it, right? And Zeke, he seems to have it.
That's my dream shot calling kind of thing. You,
Hey, you
go kill.
Go kill.
And have it work. Hey, if it gets you a championship, it gets you a championship. It don't matter. That's just one individual, though, of a massive team, and we know this is a team game. We're hopping to another break. When we come back, you may have noticed the stage is mostly dark behind us. That's because we're about to light it up and reveal to you the very first time here at VCT Music Hall what we're dealing with. Catch you soon. Welcome back to Champions, where over the last 24 hours we made our move back to Berlin and the VCT Music Hall to set ourselves up for a sweet semifinal and final over the next couple days. It's time for us to get our very first look at the stage here at the VCT Music Hall. Let's get it.
Since we fell through, I dream of you. Breathe deep in the feelings I hold on to. I can't let loose. I pray my heart out in the cold in the dark, where nobody hear me cry. Eyes from the fires, your hurts, trying to lose my mind.
Oh,
That
Wow.
I've always wanted to do one of those cool turn chair rounds, or
Turn chair rounds.
turn around chair, evil
how
villain
the
kind of situations, and I got it here at Champions. Why not? That's a sick looking stage.
It is. It's incredible.
And the players were right out in the wings getting to watch all of that, right? So if you're not feeling the pressure, you're feeling it now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that'll get your heart going for sure. For sure, these players are feeling those nerves, but the good kind of nerves, right? The good kind of nerves that remind you exactly what you're fighting for. So I think we're all getting ready for this series.
Oh, yeah. It was like Club Valorant up in here. That was actually incredible.
Ooh. Don't give them too many ideas, man. We're doing a big opening ceremony tomorrow. We got all these amazing artists. Pretty soon, you're going to pop up Club Valorants all over the world.
I mean, I wouldn't complain.
I definitely wouldn't. I'd be first in line. Team Liquid on one side, Acend on the other. This is about to be an incredible kickoff to the semifinals, and it's just the first of the two series that we've got. We've got Crew coming up later to see if they can get it done as well against our defending champions who won on this very stage in Gambit. Today promises to be an incredible semifinal day, so let's get into it, friends. Let's go.
Do you remember your first time seeing the impossible? When the first masters emerged, they were challenged to evolve, challenged to create masterpieces that would inspire millions. A mix of personal style and pure skill that redefined the game. This is where the best players from around the world will clash, and champions will be born, dreaming of greatness. Now we will all bear witness to split-second sparks that changed the course of esports history. And inspire future generations to find their own flash of brilliance. This is where we live. This is the art of greatness.
Every team that we thought should have been the underdog has just absolutely thrown a curveball.
Gambit forced to bring out the big guns.
The whole thing has done it! So Cinderella's story continues.
Crew shocking the world here at Champions.
Como viviendo literalmente un sueño.
The insane dream. And we are here to prove that dreams come true.
Team Liquid enters this matchup a clear favorite.
My brother, you know, we have a good chemistry together.
In terms of aim, no one is stronger than my brother.
Acend is one of the better teams here in this tournament. We won against them last time we played.
It was our first time facing them, and I think we showed very good, but we throw some rounds that costed us. We're coming for the revenge.
We have this mental advantage against them, so we can try to show that.
The journey of staying at the top, getting there, being number one when all eyes are on you.
Chronicle still standing. What is that? Chronicle might just do the unthinkable.
Yeah, we are losing some maps, we are losing some rounds, but we are confident and we're gonna show that in semifinals.
Claramente ha sido una línea creciente del equipo. Hemos tenido muchos cambios, hemos tenido momentos duros. Cuando un equipo se recompone de esos momentos es cuando crece y aumenta su nivel.
They're improved a lot. Firepower, tactical strategies is gonna be incredible semifinal.
Sí, creo que estamos listos para jugar contra Gambit.
The res onto Durka as well, but Kesnit just is able to mow him down. They're sitting ducks. As Kesnit says, you didn't get the ace, Durka, but baby, I did.
Por algo fueron los campeones de la Master pasada.
It's gonna be 3 maps against them and you will like it 100%.
You might doubt in us, but I think we play our 60 or 70 potential right now.
Team Liquid, we will beat you.
Yeah, of course, I feel bad to eliminate another EMEA team, you know, so sorry, Acend.
The brother buff is real.
Acend, we're coming for you.
I'm gonna say Redagar's words, he asked me, Crew, we're gonna remove you from the tournament.
Bueno, estamos acá y lo vamos a hacer por ustedes, chicos de Latinoamérica.
Primero Sentinels, después Fnatic, ahora vamos por ti. Gambit.
There is no better way to kick off the day than to hear straight from the players themselves. In every single case, promising incredible semi-finals for Crew, continuing to prove that dreams do come true and they can keep pushing past people rather that are expected to beat them. On the side of TL and Acend, you've got the brothers themselves saying the brother buff is real and promising a good series. For Acend, we've only shown 60 to 70% of our potential. Oh my God, please give me 100% then. And as you've said already, Paper Thin, these teams have met before. It was a best of 5 that time around. And this, just a best of 3. So that's where I have some extraordinary curiosity in how the vetoes break down, because it's a different game when you change up the number of maps that you can go to. So where are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot less available. So my initial thoughts are, you know, what is Team Liquid's plan around Vine? Like we've been talking about the whole time. It's just because Acend is so darn good on this. It's not too surprised to see Acend ban Haven. They don't really like this map. This is normally Acend has told me that behind the scenes that they're okay just banning whatever their opponent doesn't like, or, you know what I mean, or whatever their opponent likes, excuse me. But here's the fracture ban, so I think we know.
Yeah, we do. This is interesting to me, you know, because as we were talking about Team Liquid, they had a choice. Do we want to have a clean slate and just kind of hash it out on a map that neither of us had, or we're so damn close, right? Team Liquid, they feel like their bind is getting better and better, and as we said, those game plan changes on Scream on the Reyna, I like the confidence coming out here for Liquid.
Look, I mean, if their bind is getting better and better, and they only lost to Acend 17-15, that was one of those, overtime matchups that you were talking about, Paper Thin. If they think they've gotten that much marginally better, then it makes sense that they'd allow them, to take this in map 1 and say, all right, we'll square up.
I don't think there's any map in particular that either team is like super afraid of at this point against each other. I think they're pretty comfortable.
Yeah, but a weird part of my brain is thinking, what if there was some sandbagging going on over there in that Red Bull tournament, because the composition, I think it will be the same for Acend on the bind. So the biggest question is, what did they hide? What did they keep in their back pocket exactly for this moment? Because I tell you, that Red Bull home ground, there's no way they busted everything out on the table.
It was a little bit sloppy, but okay, so Split, this is kind of interesting here for Team Liquid. I thought they might go Acend at this point. Ascend's been a strong map for them, and but again, it's a pretty strong map all around. But okay, so this is the first map that these two teams played against. The very first time they came up against each other at the Red Bull home grounds. Team Liquid really struggled on the attacking side, which is likely to be where this is going.
It's actually, in essence, it's just the reverse of what we saw at that Red Bull event, where Split was played first, followed by Bind. This time around, we're going Bind first, followed by Split. We saw the next two bans come through. It's Breeze, it's Icebox, which leaves us with that Ascent that you're talking about Team Liquid maybe would have wanted. So by that token, it sounds to me like TL's very happy with this draft. What about on the side of Ascent?
I think Ascent they're fine with this either way. I mean, they're comfortable on most maps, they've told me. I think their Icebox is a little bit weak. The Breeze looked a little bit shaky, of course, against Vivo Key, but overall, they're just a really talented team top to bottom, and what makes them scary is they don't overreact to things. They're very measured, but CNET does know when to get aggressive. Sometimes he'll push ahead of some smokes and some things and catch you off guard with his even an operator or whatever he's got in his hands. Really interested about this.
Yeah, I think it's very clear that both of these squads absolutely kind of foresaw this map, these three maps coming out. I think they're both going to be extremely comfortable across all three of these maps. It's just a matter of those small little looks, right? I mean, we've seen Scream throwing out so many curveballs. Zeke and CNET, what are they going to bring to the table? So many questions going through my mind right now.
I hope we get that third and final map. I hope we go to Ascent. That's where TL pulled out some magic against Cloud9. We've got the maps locked in. We're heading to a break. When we come back, we're going to get our first look at our two squads here out on the Verti stage, and then we'll dive into Agent Select. We'll catch you soon. Welcome back to Champions for our semifinal day of action. From 4 teams down to 2. Let's get out onto the stage and meet our first set of semifinalists looking to battle to book that ticket into tomorrow's final. Hearts and minds are set on hoisting that Champions Trophy tomorrow. But to get the opportunity, you've got to win the best of 3 that stands in front of you. It's Team Liquid, it's Acend stepping out onto that semifinal stage. Spirits look high on both sides. That's what you want to see as they promise what will be an epic bout. And we're hoping it goes the distance.
Absolutely hoping, and man, Liquid, they look ready. I just saw Yumpy jumping on top of his coach right there, just super exciting, just beaming with all sorts of energy. And energy, they're gonna need it, man. Liquid, CNED, who knows? I know, look, I think Liquid, they had the warm-up, right? They had to deal with Thanos Leaf in the server in the series versus Cloud9 the other day, and, you know, they had a nice little warm-up, so they should be ready for CNED's shenanigans, surely.
I think the confidence is going to be very high for Acend. They've looked in really good form throughout this tournament. I mean, Team Liquid is battle-tested, but Acend, you know, they seem very confident throughout that interview yesterday. I was just impressed with how ready they were for this. It seemed like they weren't scared at all.
I think in some ways, the lack of expectation or the drop in expectation coming into this tournament and removing that little bit of pressure has helped them find that comfort that you're talking about out there on the stage. And it's almost the opposite story for Team Liquid. We were wondering, hey, when moving from the hotel to on-stage games, would they still find that same kind of confidence? And I'd say they found it and more. They seem to be loving the spotlight that they are under.
Yeah, and as they should, right? I mean, we talked about Scream and his kind of veteran leadership. You know, he's not the sole in-game leader. Liquid, they've touted that they have a little bit of a mixture of both, but Scream certainly brings that experience. I mean, just look at the man, right? He loves the spotlight on him, and as he should be, because he absolutely delivers every single time. So I don't see anything different happening this time. I think Scream, he's absolutely ready.
Well, and he said in their interview yesterday that this is going to come down to aim duels.
Yes.
More than anything. And him saying that leads me to believe that he feels pretty darn confident
where I'm putting my money.
That he can win those aim duels, and we've seen it on the Reyna. That's an agent that if you can get it going on those aim duels, then forget it. You're going to shut people out of the server on your abilities and on your presence alone. So for me, I'm really keen to see if Scream can come out firing.
That's going to be one of the big questions to be answered in this best of 3. Map number 1 is Bind, known as Ascend's best. But for Team Liquid, we talked about that really quick adjustment made by them between the dominant map loss to the victory that they've shown us, and a lot of it came from Scream's Reyna. All that said, you know it won't take Acend by surprise this time around, right? So now what have they done as well in their preparation to understand what might be coming through from Team Liquid, and how do they stymie it?
Exactly. And, you know, we talked about it yesterday. Reyna doesn't really help in the teamwork department, right? When we think about Reyna's kit, it's very selfish, in fact, and it's perfect for a player like Scream. So certainly it doesn't change a lot for the dynamic of how Liquid want to approach this one, but it changes how they trust in Scream, right? Because they can't depend on him for that vital piece of utility that if he was on a jet, that dash, the crosshair displacement that he's able to provide for his team when he's entering in, they're going to be missing that piece. So a lot of trust in Scream's abilities to, again, get those headshots right.
And you saw this with Team Liquid in their matchup against C9. They struggled in first kills. Minus 13 in first kills against C9, and they still won both maps. Are you kidding me?
That's pretty nuts.
That is nuts. So that's telling me that their retakes and their post plants are top notch.
I also like that they're starting on the attacking side, because that's what they chose to do against Cloud9, right? So they're going to follow that kind of rhythm to see if they can get it going from an early point. And as we get Prime Gaming Agent Select up onto our screens, we'll see whether or not Acend has any answers to the composition that was brought out by Team Liquid just a couple days ago. Looking stock standard.
Yeah, stock standard indeed. And I mean, Ascend's composition is just so oppressive, man. No matter how prepared you think you are for it, I mean, every agent on Ascend's lineup has a little bit of something for that stopping power. Each piece coming through, whether it's the Sage, the Sky, the Brimmy even with his Molotov, at every point, Team Liquid, they have to draw out this utility earlier than later.
Yeah, draw it out or punch through it, right? Those are really the only two answers you have on the side of Team Liquid, so that's why I returned to that interview with Scream. It comes down to aim duels, who's winning those initial ones, and even if you don't win it, how do you come back from that scenario, kind of like they did for Cloud9 rather. The one thing I will say about Scream in terms of how he uses the Reyna for for his team dismisses. The information gathering on his dismisses, I think, is phenomenal.
He does so many interesting things with the dismisses. Normally, a lot of people just think of it as like a dodge, right? To get out of the way of danger. But he uses it in a lot of different ways. He'll use it to aggress forward, to get info, to scout ahead a little bit. He'll use it to cover his teammates. If they're in a bad position, he'll kind of get in front of them and get the exact location on their opponent and the exact situation. You saw it with Navera in that Viper's pit on Brian the other day. That was nuts. So yeah, these dismisses, he uses them in really creative, unusual ways.
All right, we've got the comps locked in for map number 1, but you kind of know what's sitting in front of us. I want to know where the two of you stand. First semifinal of the day. It's Acend on one side.
You go first.
Team Liquid on the other. I guess I'm going to point this one. I'm going over to you, Potter. I'm putting you in the hot seat first.
Oh, man, I got to go with Team Liquid. Look, I think Acend have looked spectacular. Zeke, I'm a huge fan now, but Yampi, Scream, the brother buff, it's just the arc, the anime story in this is just too damn strong. I'm going with Team Liquid.
All right, we got one prediction in, and it's Team Liquid. Paper thin.
I'm going to Acend, but it's going to be really close. It's going to be a 2-1. It's going to be hard-fought, tooth and nail the whole way. No map is going to be one-sided, I don't think. I don't even think Bind will be for Acend, even though they're very, very good on it. I think that this is going to be a really, really close. I think Acend has hit a new level. I think they're riding with a lot of confidence. What I've seen from the likes of Bone Cold and Keyless on the backside in particular has given me a lot more confidence in this Acend squad.
Well, I would expect nothing less. Again, I always love a split desk, but given the way that these two teams matched up before, given the fact that we're touching 3 maps that they had touched within that best of 5, and we saw break almost evenly at that point, I would expect that these two teams go, tit for tat and trade punches every single step of the way. Maybe we get some overtimes. I don't know if that's asking for too much.
Maybe a little bit.
I think that's asking for reasonable things.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, this is our final tournament of the year, right? I mean, I want to get everything I can out of it, and especially want to see these squads tested in a big way.
I think these guys are going to be neck and neck no matter what. There's just no way that they aren't going to be pacing each other. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. Both teams are really, really good at making adjustments on the fly. I mean, this should be a masterclass in VALORANT.
It definitely should be. Again, we're looking at those audibles in that Cloud9 series for Liquid. I gotta be honest, Liquid, even though I'm saying they look incredible, they were on the back foot a couple of those times, a few 3 versus 5s, and look, that is fantastic for a team like Liquid to be able to convert those, but it was those mid-round calls coming out from the leaders and Scream and Yampi and Link. So the communication has got to be top-notch. Make Navera's life a little bit easy, get him the right intel so that he can make those calculated moves on the extremities.
And championships right there, they're won on the margins. And that's the thing, every single player can be that margin. They can be the thing that pushes you just an inch further. And so with 10 players on the stage, the question is who has their best day? Who steps up and shows us a form that we haven't yet seen, right? And that's really what I'm curious about, but it's also what excites me, that it's not always going to be the duelists. Sure, it could come down to them and just who's winning those first bloods. It could also be the support classes, the utility users who provide that information and set people up for success. And so that's one man on your screen right there. Starkso is a leader, as a guy who infuses his entire team with energy, right? How's he feeling on the day? Is he able to provide that? How are the teams themselves interacting across the stage, right? Especially as things get, closer and closer to that final and the pressure builds. Are you still having that same kind of energy and fire across the stage that's throwing the other team off?
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, hey, Acend, they're coming out still doing the whole sheesh thing, and it's worked out for these guys. They've certainly won every match that I've been here that I've heard those sheeshes. So a lot of energy coming through, and I'm glad you pointing out the support. I mean, we saw the bald man himself come on the camera briefly, but Link on the side of Liquid, man, we can't talk about him enough. He is such an anchor. Whenever the time is coming down, whenever the team has to depend on him for those multi-kills to be able to have a look in the retake, that's when Liquid turn to this man Link, and he is good for it most of the time.
Yeah, I'm a bit sad we're not getting Haven just to see Link, just to see how good he is on that map in particular, but it doesn't matter the map. He's very, very strong.
Well, if it were our choice, we'd be forcing them to play a best of 7. But that's why we aren't in charge of the tournament formats, because then they'd all be exhausted. It's a best of 3 that stands in front of us to determine who will be the first of our finalists. And we've got DDK and Sean Garris on the call. Gents, take it away.
3, 2, and cue. Thank you so much, Dash. Yes, this is going to be an incredible matchup. The storylines of these two teams, it's insane. You've got the immovable object versus the unstoppable force in these two teams. They've been on a collision course in terms of the dominance Liquid has had since adding Nivera, the dominance that Acend have had. It seems like these two teams, they couldn't meet at a better point unless it was the grand finals itself. I'll take it at the semifinals, Sean.
I couldn't agree more. And it's funny because people sleep on Acend. They act like they can't win this game, Dan. But I'm going to drop some stats on you right now. Since the start of October, Acend are 12-1 in matches and 24-4 in maps. 3 of those 4 map losses came to Liquid in the grand finals of the Red Bull Invitational Tournament. I can't even believe it. You know, Liquid, on the other hand, like you mentioned, 13-0 since picking up Nivera, 25-4 in maps. These teams are the hottest teams in the world, and we're going to get such an insane matchup here today. But no time to talk, Dan. They're going straight into this B hit.
Straight into the B hit, indeed. And who other than Bone Cold on the other end? He will actually hit the drone, and he'll start backpedaling, and there drops the smoke. And that's going to be the orb now. Picked up by Liquid. They, of course, don't have to push the issue. They've attracted some extra attention, Liquid, rotating an additional player to help support this defense. And we might just get a flash through this. There it comes. Bokol's out in the open, and no one's actually looked for him yet. Bokol somehow takes down one player. CNED up in hookah, has that crossfire with Stark, so Acend looking in good stead here, but fantastic shot found by Link to really crack open this site. Lots of time bought though, so the defense has rotated in. Liquid trying to back away to the TP, but now the spike is down on the ground thanks to Zeke. And Liquid are in a terrible position.
Yeah, this is going to come on Nivera, Dan. He's lurked in the hookah. The Sage Wall has fallen, and that has given him this time, but Keyless has taken control of Long, and the spike is down.
Oh! That's a nasty shot.
That was filthy. Absolutely filthy. And now Nivera looks to reposition, go towards Long. That is where the spike is, and you can see, actually, the crossfire set up between Keyless and Zeke.
It is Nivera, after all, against 2 players. Not got much time to work with, and there we go. Keyless will take it down. And that will be Acend opening a round of this best of 3. The semi-finals here at Champions will go to Acend here on Bind.
Absolutely, and this is their home map, Dan. This is the place that Liquid does not want to be. No one wants to be on Bind against Acend. 23-1 in their last 24 Bind games. They've won 11 straight. Liquid chose to play them here. Obviously, I don't think they're very comfortable on Fracture, and Acend in their post-game interview yesterday said they love playing Fracture. They're actually great at the map. They just haven't had a chance to pick it yet because Bind is always available.
And the fact that Liquid have gone into Acend on Bind here shows a lot of confidence. 17-15 the last time these two teams faced each other on Bind. And creeping down short B, getting some early information. With all these sheriffs out there for Team Liquid, it's certainly a bold move for CNED, but a good show of confidence early from him.
And you can see one of the primary differences between these teams is Solkis on this KO. Using the 0 point to take control of Showers right there, get the orb. They're trying to get all of the edges on these eco rounds, Dan.
So far, so good. A minute to play with as well. Acend keeping things passive.
Oh, and the wall comes a hookah at 50 seconds, shuts down the B site. You can see Ascend's very comfortable leaving 3 in the A site now.
It only leaves Liquid with one option, which is to go through Showers. And just one choke point for the entire team. Not a good look. Keyless will confirm the information there. And there's nothing that Liquid can really do here. They're getting run down and, looking for the Prime Gaming forwards. They will be denied, however. Soulcast with one headshot, but otherwise a fantastic, confident opening here from Acend, converting the anti-eco.
But I'm going to say this, Dan. When these teams met in the grand finals of that Red Bull tournament, Acend started up 8-4 on 3 of the 4 maps, and they still lost the series 3-1. So these early leads that Acend builds against Team Liquid, they mean nothing.
What a crazy situation.
Yeah, actually wild. Acend has known... They've been known to crumble against this team, so that is one thing to look out for. And right off the bat, Liquid again going into this B hit. You can see 3 people gathered here. Working up B, 2 towards hookah, 1 towards long.
Scream, nice opening there from him. Big focus on the star player. He is essential, his performance on Bind, for Liquid's chance at success. And we'll see that he can apply more pressure, forces up the toxic screen. And when that drops down, he'll also have players here, Yampy leading the charge from garden side to work with. Oh no, Starkso caught, punished with that Trailblazer. And that's 2 players going down now early here for Acend. Wall for Cena, that will be broken pretty rapidly. Oh, he's stuck in the corner. Yampy takes him down as well. And Liquid are just doing fantastically well here in round 3. And it's not really all that much Acend can do.
No, nothing at all. The 0 point for backhaul lets them know elbow is totally clear. Zeke rotating through spawn only has a Marshall, Dan. You know, he's probably just looking to do a little bit of economic damage. But the key thing to take away here is look at Liquid taking all 5 guns potentially into this next round. Solkis has that null command, and the Prime Gaming Flawless indeed comes in. Massive opening here for Liquid.
Definitely. Good to see both teams looking confident at the start. And again, I think the narrative around the star players is a huge one, obviously. Both teams fundamentally working kind of differently. Obviously, you know, we have a lot of star riflers and not really the focus on the star operator jet player, which we have in Acend with CNED. So these difference in dynamics will be very interesting to follow as this series progresses. But to start off with, the money hasn't been there until this round, where we see CNED picking it up, obviously on the Sage for bind.
Oh, and he's up in short A. I don't know. Navira has been known to lurk up this in prior matches. He's thrown the wall, and I believe the Poison Orb is going over for U-Haul. But again, Liquid look to take control of this hookah position. They've been doing it all tournament long with Solkis on the KO.
And Acend, you know, throwing that early util to control showers. Nobody there for Liquid. We'll get light pressure towards B, but at the moment, minute left, and Liquid don't have any, or rather Acend have no info on the defense. They'll hear the drone, they'll send a Trailblazer. It won't see anything because it has near sight. Oh, there we go. The null command coming through. The entries looked after here for Team Liquid as they start to storm the site. Bone Cold takes down Soulcast, but the rest of his teammates can get in. Can Acend stop it though? Bone Cold with a nice timing on that one. Can't find the frag, but it's Liquid to find those entries.
Dan, the full rotates here. Everyone from Acend is fighting.
I don't know if they can get Soulcast up in time. They can't. And Acend might be good for this 2v2 here. Nice timing from Navira. Through up on the edge to the last second for both teams, but Liquid come out, and that's going to equalize things here, 2-2.
And that's so big. Taking that operator out of CNED's hands early in this halftime, there's no way Acend is going to be able to rebuy here in round 5. And CNED, like you mentioned this previously, he's had so much success throughout this tournament. Number 5 in ACS so far at the event. His first blood statistics are unreal. I believe he's like 29 and 12 in first bloods this event. And to put that in comparison, Scream on the other side, 21 and 21.
And this round, Sean, we're going to have the Sheriffs come to play for Acend. Yes. Judge on Zeke as well, and Zeke will be working the hookah position with that. But you can see at the opening, Liquid playing it passive, as you typically do, trying to get information across the map. Make sure that Acend aren't doing anything cheeky, and Scream will catch CNED in short on A. So that's already a fantastic opening for Liquid to work with.
Yeah, and it looks like they're actually going to opt to go fully up short A here. All 5 players, they're leaving showers completely open.
Screams in there. They'll get the spike planted on A as well.
Indeed, the little combination, the extra gravity will in showers stops the peak, but the 2 frags coming in from Acend. We're now on a 3-on-3.
So Sheriffs are dangerous. We'll already have bow snake bites sent onto the spike. That shows you the panic here. Yampy coming around the corner, and it's not going to work out for Yampy. The judge too strong, but not working at those ranges. Punished by Soulcast. Starkso though, 1 versus 2, gets caught in the side, and the round is converted by Liquid. But Acend do a decent, a respectable amount of damage on the economy of Liquid.
Absolutely, and again, another round for Team Liquid. After that slow start on the pistol, you know, they took one on the chin for the eco, and look, Yampy still has this op. That could come into play, but all of the ults have been built up on the Acend side, and that is the talk of this round. Zeke playing super aggressive in short A right now. You have to wonder, is he going to bust out the showstopper early with Keyless?
Yeah, he might try to just use restart the push. There goes the Viper's Pit, Zeke going to play inside the Viper's Pit. He might be able to punish that. He's going to go for it. Well, it's a showstopper. He knows they're close! And he's able to get Yampy. But Nivera is there to get the trade kill. CNET activated towards short B. Again, also playing off of the sound cue of the Empress. Goes to the peak to punish Scream. And with all of that, Sean, the dust settles. And it is a 4 versus 3 advantage for Acend on the defense. We're still with that Viper's Pit active too.
Yes, and man, did those Seekers give a lot of information to Acend. It let them know that the entire bulk of Liquid was stuck in this market area or towards showers. CNED's going to wall off Hookah, which will further delay this B hit even more. They have a Brim at long with 20-second smokes, 1 more remaining. Acend has this slowdown utility on the B site, and it's really bogging Liquid down right now.
And the 2 stars of Liquid are dead at the moment. Scream is gone. It's going to be difficult for the remainder to work their way forward, but there it is. Will they spot Bone Cold in time? He's got a brilliant position that he converts beautifully for Acend, leaving just Link now.
30 seconds left.
Link, it's such a desperate position. Does he go for damage? Does he try to hold onto the rifle? If he can get a 1v1, I'm sure he'll take it. He's looking for it. Is someone going to overextend? But he creeps past the angle. He might be able to get a fight, but he has been caught going across, and Starks will finish him off 3-3 now as we tie it up early here on Bind. We are going round for round.
Yeah, but that one cost Acend a pretty penny, Dan. A lot of ults came into play there. The Seekers, the Showstopper, as well as the Pit comes into play. But they still have the res. And in addition to that, they still have the Orbital Strike. And we've seen Bone Cold get really cheeky with this Orbital Strike. If he senses you're in the drone, if he senses you're doing anything like that, in a Trailblazer, in anything that takes you out of the game, he will use that Orbital Strike on you.
We'll get the typical shower control play coming from Acend, but we also have Acend going aggressive here behind the smoke. They may just walk straight through this on B long.
No one's here.
I don't think anyone's going to catch this. The flash might give Liquid some semblance of an idea. Scream surely heard what was going on there.
Dan, it looks like Yampy and Nivera want to walk up short A here, and yet Nivera's going to walk up behind Yampy's drone. Hunter's Fury connects on Cena with the first shot, and the second, the res is out of the round. And there's that Orbital Strike. He tried to get the drone. It didn't happen.
They might go back though, Sean, because Scream's been holding onto the Hookah position. Zeke is still on the other end of this, and we can see the walk back. Right now, the vision isn't there for Acend. They're going to work out that there's no push behind all of that towards A, and the timing window, it still favors Liquid if they can take down Zeke. But Zeke, he's going to hold this position. Oh. Fantastic. The paint shells shut it down. That's going to buy favorable timing now for the rotation. Zeke knows he's done everything he needs to do. Any kill is a bonus. Desperation for Liquid. Zeke with the reposition is going to completely crush the push. Every chance for a Liquid in this round has been stifled now at this point as they reset into a hopeless 2 versus 4.
Yeah, Liquid looks to save these guns, Dan, and I love how you drew attention to Zeke's reposition right there. Uses the paint shells, uses the boombot to get the angle, and then crosses completely unknowingly to Yampy.
So beautiful. Again, Sean, just it's great how we see that Liquid are playing with the fact that, okay, they've dropped the Orbital Strike. There's all this time when they don't have vision, they don't have sound cues, and they will have rotated everybody. So we have an opening. But the fact that Zeke stayed in Hookah control, and that was never cleared by Scream previously, who was putting light pressure on it, it's all on Zeke, and he delivered. He is a focus. Yes. Zeke's incredible.
Yeah, we mentioned Cena. Zeke is right behind him. Number 6 in ACS at this event right now. Number 1 in assists. Actually has a higher kill-to-death ratio than Cena. This guy is out of control, and he can do it on a lot of different agents, Dan. We're going to see him in this series, likely on a KO.
Yes, it's looking good so far. And as we said, we're going round for round between these two teams. You wouldn't want it any other way. This time, though, Nivera, he's picked up an operator, Sean.
Oh, this is wild, because he even has the Viper's Pit, Dan. I think he might have taken that into this round. I would be so surprised if he keeps this operator with the Pit on deck.
It's going to be interesting to see what is the. We've got the timer coming in here, Sean. What should we expect to see? Liquid, they are the ones that called it. Yes. What are they discussing in a situation like this?
Well, I think they strayed away from what got them their early success in this half. So if I'm Liquid right now, I'm taking it back to the tried and true. I'm trying to go back into the B site. They had so much success early taking Hookah. No mid-round takes of hookah with a lack of utility. They need to do it early and then go into the A strats. We saw that missing in the last couple rounds, and I think Liquid's going to go back to that soon.
Well, time will tell. As we go back into the game, we can start to see how the teams are set up here as they nestle up against the barriers. We've got a lot of presence towards B here, Sean, for Liquid.
Oh, and the operator. The operator on Nevera, Dan. Look, it's going to challenge this long B fight. And there's 3 Acend players there, like you mentioned. But can the guiding light on Starkso stop all of this from happening? He's been flashing down there every round.
Well, we'll see if he catches something. Liquid will be aware of this. The smoke goes down from Bone Cold. Starkso, you know he loves to push through these. The pop flash, surely he's readying it. He's going to punish the spam, but there's players there. And Lincoln Screen, they take down both players, and they're going to run it up. Bone Cold, can he slow this down? He has an incendiary. He's going to take the angle, and he goes down, taken out by Scream. And Liquid are going to smoothly sail right on into that B site. No challenges remaining, and Ascend's responses blown up in their face.
Yeah, and that's Acend trying to, force the issue. They're trying to show they have the confidence to take these fights in the early game. And Liquid is so ready for it. The prior round when this happened, they're not even there. They're taking hookah control. This time, though, there's 3 people, one of them playing anti-flash. Yes. Great setup from Liquid to stop that long push.
Sean, I wonder if this is, in the timeout, of course, the Liquid players get to talk to Sleggy. Sleggy's obviously seen a lot. And Scream, he did hear the B long plays with the guiding lights and so on in the previous round. So that had to be a counterplay there. Okay, these guys, they're using Viper. They're basically playing a 3-2 opening. They're using Viper on A to shut down Showers. We can't do too much. There's if we try to challenge that, we're going to invest way more for what we need to get for control of Showers versus what they invest. Let's punish the B side of the map instead.
Absolutely. And something that Paperthin mentioned on the desk that I'm going to bring up here, Scream, after he gets that kill at Long B, Dan, what does he do? He uses his dismiss aggressively. He peeks into Octagon for information, and I believe on that dismiss peek, he spotted Bone Cold, which then netted him the second frag.
Yes, yeah.
This is something that the top Reynas are doing right now in the scene, and it's such a good look from Scream. We saw it actually in the Cloud9 series where he dismissed through the Viper's pit. Great Reyna play coming out the star player.
So with that, Sean, with that counterplay coming out of Liquid, the question is, what do Acend do? Their money will be broken if they lose this round, so lots of pressure. Cena's going for a peek from short B. He's going to go for it. Soulcast, he detects it. He understands what's happening.
I don't think he realizes that. I don't think he knows that. Oh, that flash, it's going to push Cena off. But it missed!
Oh,
it
he still gets it! Yeah, that's a problem. Soulcast gives up that position, and that tells Acend everything. They're going to start rotating towards A. There's a timing here that Liquid have to hit. Scream must open this position up. But Zeke, again, on the other side to slow it all down. And they have nothing to check for Zeke. He's going to get 2 kills for free. Nice trade coming out of Nevera, out of the Viper's pit. But the slow orb is going to really create problems here as they try to work their way in. Cena close with the operator, looking for someone to come out the other end. And he finds Link. And Nevera is left. He's left with an operator and no help, no health, nothing.
Nothing. And CNET has him locked in. Is he even going to be able to save this stand? The answer is no. CNET doesn't miss those. 5-4 Acend, and I think that right there might have done a little bit of economic damage to Liquid. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to scrape together a buy here, and if they are, it's going to be the bottom of the barrel.
It is very problematic.
What an angle.
Yeah, it's just, again, such a great read. So in the press conference, Acend was saying, I think I might even have been Bone Cold. I forget who. I think it was Bone Cold. He's just saying how readable they think Liquid is. And I'm wondering, is this just a press conference and they're just talking it up? Or
they were confident.
Or have
Real confident.
Yes. And we're going to get another B long play for the orb here. And they drop the wall straight away, Acend, to guarantee that they pick up the orb. And of course, that is to get those ults rolling in. And they'll rotate Cena straight back towards A.
Yeah, and Yempi's on this ult, and again, Zeke is playing very close short A, Dan, and he has the showstopper. We saw what he did last time. He went through the Viper's pit, hunted Yempi down. If he gets the first frag, he is definitely popping the showstopper. And that's terrifying for Liquid.
It's going to be hard, though. They need to get Cena off the angle. They may not expect to see him here because he was dropping that wall towards the other side of the map. So the question is, where is Cena? We even get Keyless rotating away. And there we go, Zeke popping the showstopper, popping all of the util just to delay And Liquid, they can't go into that. But at the same time, 40 seconds to go, Acend don't have a great idea as to what Liquid are doing. Are they resetting into A, or are they going to B?
Yeah, and Yampy is desperately looking for this pick. I don't think Acend is going to realize he has an op. He hasn't shot a single bullet. There's been nothing to indicate that Liquid has this, and the null command comes in. This is an exec. They're going all out, Dan.
I think that dagger got too, but yeah, it suppressed everybody in the site. You would expect advantages here for Liquid as they start to stream in, but Starkso in a great position. Again, Acend finding fantastic spots, getting 3 kills. Starkso looking to finish it off, but it's bone cold to sweep the rest. And Acend with another great defense, and just these tricky spots that we saw from Zeke a couple times, and this time it came from Starkso that just completely destroys these pushes for Liquid.
This was just a round of the role players on Acend. Bone Cold again takes out the null command coming up long B. He's just destroying these B hits. I know he's sitting at 6 and 6, but that is a very, very impactful opener to get, and then he just falls away into that smoke at elbow. But when we were looking at the stats, Dan, this is the problem for Liquid. Before this match, despite being 6 and 1 in maps, undefeated in the tournament in their matchups, they're sitting at -10 in First Bloods. How is that even possible, you might ask? Well, they just have bangers, and they stick together in clusters. They play very, very different than Acend. And that's why you see them in this scenario. You know, it looks very one-dimensional. They're running up long B. And throughout the tournament so far, the trades have come in. You know, Link, Solkis, Yampy, they've all been so massive in those moments. We've yet to really see that right now.
Yeah, and it's great to see as well. Already we're seeing quite a competitive showing between these two teams. Typically Liquid, actually statistically, they get about 50% of their rounds on attacking side and defensive side. So you wouldn't necessarily say that they're super favored on one side or another. It's actually Acend, though, who are massively favored when it comes to their attacking side.
Yes.
With that said, even though they're very layered on that attacking side, there's a lot of information out there as to how they play it. So very interesting dynamic. I feel like the second half will be more difficult for Liquid, and they really need to get at least a 6-6 here as we go into this next round, Sean. Only 6 is possible for them, and they have a terrible buy. It's going just to be the Sheriffs here for a save and 1 judge on Scream.
Yeah, what does a judge look like when Scream pops this Empress?
I don't know. You know,
that would be wild.
No.
Scream's definitely going to look to get inside U-Haul, maybe with this Viper utility that his brother just threw, actually. Denying all info. We saw what it did to CNED earlier. Again, you know, Liquid's looking really one-dimensional. 4 people going up short A, and Zeke is shutting this down, man.
Yeah, not a lot to work with here. Scream trying to get himself to U-Haul. If he can get there, he can really activate the judge. But you can see as well that Acend don't need U-Haul control. They can give that up. It is a dangerous close-range position that they don't have to mess with, so they won't.
Dan, that's Bone Cold's molly all the way from the B site to the right of Zeke. Just the preemptive molly on default. That's how good Acend is on this map. Cross-map communication, excellent ability usage. But I'm not sure if Zeke is going to be aware. Like you mentioned, Scream's sitting here. He only has 6 HP. But all it takes is 1 frag and the overheal comes in.
Yeah, and the issue here for Liquid is that Acend are not going to give them peeks. They just don't have to. You know that Liquid have to come to them to plant the spike. It's Liquid that have to go deep for the frags. So they have to go deep,
30 seconds left.
Cross into unfavorable setups.
Look at Bone Cold's all the way down long B. The Brimstone's pushed through B. And a 4th player on Acend is peeled towards this A site. I don't see how they get in.
Yeah, you can see Seeker's aware that one is in U-Haul here. And they're going to be forced to go in because of the time. There's no time to do this. There's a poison off to try to cover some ground, but Zeke sprays them down. And that is so important. Cena will get the last kill, but Zeke picking up these kills is huge because the showstopper is a massive ult on a map like this, and he's so far been able to do so much work with it. He's 14 and 7 as Acend pick up the round. That's 7-4, and we're going into the last round now of the first half of this best-of-3 series.
Yeah, he's making Raze look so good right now on Blind. As he should. You know, you would think you would see a lot of Raze on Blind, but we haven't seen that many throughout this tournament. And Liquid, known to not run one. That could be why they're struggling here on this attack half.
Absolutely, and the question is, what adjustments do they have? Yampy on the operator. Scream, as he does, working towards B short, has Yampy covering for him.
It's opping here though, Dan. That 0 point should take, yeah, that's gonna push Acend right off of the angle. He doesn't want to stay there. No slows to reposition. But it gave the info to Liquid, and look how scared they are. They don't even want to go in hookah now that they know Acend was there. They have to drone through.
Spotted it now. Yampy looking to take the challenge. Oh, it's so difficult though. It might be someone on a different angle as well. It's a dangerous peek. Zeeka's going out. That's going to stuff Yampy's position. He's going to shoot 2 of them, but now they know the operator is there, Acend in hookah, and the spike might be making its way back. We've got a push coming through here as well. Keyless takes down Navera though, and that push going down. Now the question is, does Acend expect another lurk? Because we have a player in showers. We've got Link, who's been working showers control, and Acend still with 3 players towards B. Another flash to clear and get info on B long. Acend figure it out. They're rotating everybody back towards the A site here. They know what's coming.
Yeah, he's going to take this Heaven line, Dan. He's going to be posted on Heaven. The 0 point's broken immediately by Keyless. And again, Acend is in full control this round, but that could change everything. Huge pick from Yampy.
Trace coming through as position is fought for. Zeke goes down. Liquid finding frags. It's a 2 versus 2. No, they need this round, and the flash is fantastic. Starkso finishing off the half in style on Sky, and that's an 8-4 finish.
Sides.
Massive advantage going into Ascend's better half. This is a very difficult situation for Liquid.
Liquid is standing on very, very shaky ground right now, Dan, and I am scared for them this half. They have looked really shaky on this defensive half. Every time we've watched them so far, they had several very, very key clutches against Cloud9, and they're going to need those individual performances if they stand any chance of bringing this back.
Yeah, the openings there from Liquid, I felt like there was good push and pull, but when it came down to hitting the shots and those sneaky little positions, Zeke in particular, he really stole away a lot of rounds, but that's enough from us for now. We're going to head over to the desk and see what they made of that first half.
Thank you so much, gents. DDK prefaced the whole series by saying we've got the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. And right now, Acend is looking like an immovable object on defense, an 8-4 half. They look comfortable.
They do. They look comfortable, and each player is so confident in their own game plan, right? Sure, we can highlight and talk about the individuals stepping up like Zeke, of course, but the approach from the squad is very much teamwork is the dream work. You saw those crossfires at B. Well, firstly, we have to talk about this round from Zeke. This hookah control, he's alone. Not a single player on his team is there to back him up. Of course, those crispy shots help him, but that reposition, just utilizing that paint shell in that small second, that small window of timing to reposition himself and go for a more forward, aggressive angle. These small looks, these small maneuvers is what makes the difference between a superstar player like Zeke and just an average Joe Schmo.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time it was Zeke, but there were a lot of times where Team Liquid's getting caught at off angles. You saw it with Bone Cold hiding right by that B-side teleporter entrance, and they love to do that. Acend loves to sneak somebody in there, whether it be Starzo or Bone Cold or whoever. They'll get somebody in there, and you always have to be aware of that, and Team Liquid just is kind of getting caught trying to push forward, just trying to brute force their way into sites. It's not going so well. They're getting shut down big time.
Yeah, Zeke sitting at right around 350 ACS. That's nutty in a first half, but I like the point, too, about the difficulty that Team Liquid has been having on the attacker side to punch through the utility of Acend, and they don't have the same kind of utility, defensive utility that Acend had to work with as they swap paths, and that's kind of what concerns me here, Potter, as they try and claw back with 8 to 9 rounds of their own here, is their comp doesn't seem like it has the ability to slow things down and put the time pressure on that they were feeling themselves.
Yeah, and this is kind of where your Theorycraft brain really misses a different agent besides Reyna. Look, we talked about the impact that Scream can have on an agent like Reyna, but you gotta hit the shots, you gotta find the holes, and on Ascend's defenses, there was not many holes. That Sage Wall really allowed these guys to be mobile, like Clinton was talking about, different looks towards that hookah control. On this attack side, as Sean mentioned on the cast, Scream, he's got to resort to those playmaking abilities, right? He's got to have those headshots available because, as you say, Dash, they don't have the kit to be able to just stop with utility.
Acend looking comfortable as ever on their map pick. We're going back into bind and handing it back to our casters for the call.
Back into it again, second half here. We set it up, Acend. This is where they really shine, but perhaps Coach Sliggy has found some holes in this one. The opening is with Acend, though, straight up guard, and it's not going to be about heavy strats here. Oh, what? Seek! That came out of nowhere.
This site's gone, Dan.
It's gone.
This site's absolutely gone. They're going to have to do a clean 3 versus 5 retake. Not a lick of damage was done to these players.
Oh, it's so difficult here. They go, and they get flashed and absolutely destroyed. The Prime Gaming flawless from Acend. Start as you mean to go on, Sean. Acend looking deadly.
Yeah, this is not a good look for Liquid. But again, for everyone at home, this is kind of what we've come to expect when you see Acend on Bind. You do not want to play them on this map. The ladder maps in this series will Liquid will stand a lot better chance. I'm not saying Acend isn't a formidable opponent on those other maps, Dan, but you know, this is such a mismatch, this particular map.
Yes. Yes, this is a different game. They're playing a very different game here on Binds against Acend, and Liquid just getting the sheriffs up here on the defense. And Acend with a slow pace to begin, just poking. Seeing again if Liquid will do anything early rounds. Liquid will be rotating Soulcast in between the sites on spawn, so he's ready to react to any information, but there is none so far.
You can see Zeke just holding that hookah push, just in case his teammates decide to, you know, hit the teleporter, come back into this B site. Acend always has layers. They always have options.
And Liquid actually gambling towards the A site now. They don't have any information to really make it certain that it is a push towards A, but we can see Acend are looking to get up A short. Now the teleporter rotation is available. The first frag from Scream will be traded, but Yampy, he's going to be blocked off. Oh, tries to get some frags in there, but he can't find what he's looking for. Navera, he might have an opportunity here. Don't know precise. Oh my God, Navera! 2 quick headshots, and suddenly a 2 versus 2. The Spike has to, in a very panicked fashion, make his way back across. And Zeke, he's hearing Soulcast running. It's all on Link right now.
Oh, the layers, they just peel back. Every time you watch Acend get in any trouble, they seem like they have a B plan, a C plan, a D plan on this map. And now Link is left in a 1-on-2. Sheriff in hand, and he's going to get a peek.
Oh, he's got a peek, and he gets the 2 shots off. Very scary, but Starkso finishes him off. At the very least, Liquid get some damage in, but at this point, Acend are only 3 rounds away from winning the first map here.
Yeah, Liquid's going to have to, you know, full buy up this round, and I'm apprehensive because we saw Liquid try one setup against Sentinels at this B site, Dan, and it was the Astra Viper combo. It did not work at all. Sentinels ran through Liquid. The following matchup, though, against Cloud9, they made an adjustment. Yampy went over to the B site. Everything worked out great. But now they're going back to this Sentinel setup, and they're running into the same problems.
Massive pressure here as well on the hookah position. They're going to be getting rid of some of these stars. The initial setup here from Liquid on the defense. This is great pressure, getting rid of, like, forcing these stars out early. Sean, I definitely like that a lot from Acend.
Yeah, and look what they're doing to Liquid's rotations. 4 players at this B site. I would imagine an alert from Keyless could be activated at any second here.
Oh, so dangerous. Right now, they're cutting noises in. Ooh, Scream actually gets a dink there. Takes down CNED. The headshot machine working with the pixel angles. Easily dealing with Seek as well. I don't know if that's the fight you want to take against that player. Soulcast, though, you're talking about the lurk. It has to be activated now by Keyless. He's got to find something, but Liquid don't need to move. Keyless will have to go deeper. Oh, well, the 0 point is going to spot his position. Liquid with all the info.
Yeah, Navera finding Bone Cold. Soulcast taking out Keyless. This is a clean round for Liquid, and they're going to need a lot more of this. They need to take as many guns into the next round as possible.
30 seconds
Their
left.
economy needs to remain strong for this comeback to happen.
Starkso, he's hoping that someone will overextend, but again, Liquid playing disciplined here. And it is worth noting that Scream is so important to a bind performance. Any good bind performance from Liquid, it revolves around Scream getting the kills. And oh, Starkso, he will actually find one. That's a nice find. And that will, of course, also be an extra ult charge. He's going to have the Seekers available now.
Which is very big for Acend on this attack half. You know, they have these A executes where they use the ults to perfection. You'll see the Seekers come in, and you'll see the Brim smokes cut across the site. You'll see the Viper wall also, they're working off of that. Every piece of utility is used to perfection on this attack half for Acend. Again, Zeke starting off early round. He's going to go for this hookah fight. He's going to be met with actually 2 Liquid players.
Yeah, set up. Will they find anything? Zeke making his way forward. Default here. We've got some showers being worked on by Acend at the same time. The Trailblazer through there as they boom bot towards hookah. So presence on both sides here early from Acend.
No, Dennis Starsword actually used the Trailblazer in the perfect spot to not get hit by that 0 point. This could be Keeley's life if he gets caught by this drone.
So is there a timing for Yappy? There is, but he can't win the battle. Massive opening space created by Keeley's towards U-Haul. Now CNED opening things up towards Triple. One more player. They know where he is in the cubby. Soulcast, how much can he get? He pulls out the flash that punishes in from Bone Cold, leaving Nivera and Link on the rotation.
Spike planted.
Cold has that molly, Dan. He's playing default, though, and they've walled off short, so they will get the fights. Liquid gets the fights in this retake, and that's exactly what they want.
So hard to get away, but here goes Link. He might find a close range battle. There's a slow orb. He'll go down, though. Starkso from bench. Vera, though, able to find his position, but it will be CNED to shut it down early, and that's 11 rounds now. Ascend 2 away from taking map 1 in this best of 3. And again, the stakes here are pretty huge. The biggest, the first ever Champions event in Valorant history. These teams fighting to make history for themselves, for their team, for their organizations, for their regions, respectively.
Gotcha. Indeed, both of these teams in the EMEA region, and they've had tons of success. You know, Liquid undefeated since picking up Nivera, Dan. This team is red hot. For them to start in this fashion, I don't think they've been in this scenario many times before. So how does Liquid bounce back? Again, the same setup here at this B site. Link in hookah has the judge, and Nivera is forced all the way back into the B site. A lot of control going in the way of Ascend early.
Yeah, Liquid with that showers control should surely be beginning to feel things out. We've got 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock to plant that spike. Beambots and Trailblazer going through, so that gives a lot of info for Liquid's defense. Soulcast is pushing showers at the same time.
He's going to find Keeley's, Dan.
They might go for a TP play, that is possible, and Soulcast is so deep towards showers. Headshot angle, 1 bullet, 1 kill from Scream. The headshot machine. They talk about his one-taps, and he's given Liquid an early 5 versus 4. Time pressure now for Ascend.
Blocking vision.
They're going to go straight forward, it seems. The smoke. But Nivera will deflect
Spike
him.
down, B.
These pokes and prods here from Ascend so far not delivering what they're looking for. And Keeley's will be able to open things up a double. But here comes the charge from Link. He's in such a good spot for this one. They'll line up for him. However, Bone Cold does some good damage. He can collect the spike in time, but Yappy with the Guardian. Oh my god, that felt very scary, but Yappy will lock it in. Whew.
Hard to hit a man in his iPad.
Yeah, and those 2 kills out of Keeley's. That looks like those weren't going to come through. That's a big chunk of damage.
Yeah, that is a big chunk of damage, but I will say Liquid strung together a couple rounds here. They've built up their economy. The ults are coming in. I think Liquid could be in a comfy spot here to make a comeback. Does Ascend have enough to buy? And no, they don't. You can see Zeke has the judge. Are they going to try to get him an orb for the showstopper?
Oh yeah, we have certainly some presence here from Ascend, and Showers. Getting in there with the judge. Oh, that's so disgusting with that judge.
Yeah, and that's their controller utility.
Yes.
The only person left is this Viper, and the utility's static. It's already down.
It's towards the B site, and there's 3 players in defense here. So as you say, Liquid will have to win the gun battles. Have the weaponry to do. Oh my god! Scream is blind, and the trade comes through from Yappy. He's going to work his way around towards Pocket as well. Ascend so dangerous at all times. 2 versus 2 here as Starkso makes it even better for Ascend. There's the Viper's Pit going down. So space can be
gained has great timing. Starkso could get caught. And he has the spike also.
Nivera, he is so good in these positions, Sean. He's such an intelligent player. Made for these moments on the big stage, it would seem, early in his career. But he will get caught by Starkso this time around. And that is a must-win round, you have to say, for Liquid. And now they're up against the wall. They cannot make a single mistake as Acend reach map point.
Oh, man. It can't get any worse either. Down 6 on map points against 4 ults. The only one that's gone is the pit that we just saw used for spawn. They have Seekers, they have an Orbital Strike. They have so many round-winning ults right now, Dan. I don't know how Liquid can scrape through the first 2 rounds. If they can get past these 2.
We have a setup towards short B immediately for both sides. You can see Soulcast ready for the pop flash. There it goes. Finds nothing. The Orbital Strike to try to blow this aggression up, but they took down Soulcast, and that's a lot of respect just dropping the Orbital Strike. But as you say, they've got so many ults to fall back on.
I've got your trail.
Seekers out. They're just going to send it straight into the B side. There's 3 players here. Scream takes down 1. Spike can go back. And we've got Zeke trying to just really convince Liquid this will be a B play. But at the same time, the Spike makes its way to A.
Yeah, Zeke got nothing out of that showstopper. CNET still has this res, though, and he gets the pick on Yappy through the Viper wall. I think he was just taking a shot.
I just don't even understand. His reaction times on that, I don't understand. CNET. It's crazy, but here we have Nivera. Perhaps with the timing. Here's the Spike going down close. Quick takes his timing, but can't find anything. Zeke will be able to get rid of that play, and Scream's follow-up also finding Keelays. And it's just 1 by 1 here for Liquid as they look to come to a very difficult situation for Link. 1 versus 4. Can't Link find anything, looking the wrong way at the wrong time. Takes down 1 player. Doesn't lose really any health there, though. Time is against him. He's just forced to go forward. He's 10 bullets. 10 bullets and 3 players. The math doesn't add up, and Bone Cold takes his head clean off there. 13-6. An absolutely crushing opening map there from Acend. They have to be so extremely pleased. Their confidence definitely seems intact, but Liquid, how do they recover from this?
Yeah, that's going to be a hit to Liquid's confidence. We saw them in the press conference, both of these teams, incredibly confident in the press conference. Obviously, Liquid just got done beating these guys in a best-of-5. They should be confident. On the other side, Acend, they said, they defeated us, but we have so many things we messed up. There's so many things we can change, and they're so readable. We've got this rematch. I'm starting to side with Acend here, Dan, and it's a very, very scary sight for Liquid because even though they're likely favored on these 2 maps coming up, Acend are no slouches here.
Yeah, and one of the things that we noted when we were looking at these 2 teams to prepare for this one is that Liquid tends to be a slow starter in terms of all of their performances. And unfortunately here, they were a slow starter again. And unfortunately against Acend, who are coming out hot, there was just no time for a slow start. They couldn't have one, and we can see the result.
Yeah, and this was never meant to be Liquid's map, though. We're going into Split, which is Liquid's map pick. We have that coming up. And we're going to get Scream on Reyna again, most likely. We're likely going to have Soulkiss on the Raze. It's a totally different look, and Liquid looks way more comfortable on that map than here.
It's going to be quite the long road at this point now for Liquid. So if you are a Liquid fan, you need to be sending them all of your energy because they certainly need it. But again, they are a team that has proven resilience so far in this tournament, and there's no reason to think that they can't once again dig deep and find it. So it's time for us to take a quick break. But when we come back, more Valorant action. We could have our first grand finalist. We'll have to wait and see.